is.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wicked Crazy Pinfall Show. You're probably wondering, where's Throwback? He's here. You just can't see him. He's the invisible hand, if you will. Right? You may not see him, but trust us, he's always there. He got his COVID shot today and was just wanting to make sure that he was good. So he's as he's putting up here, he's letting the crew take over. So he is around, but just give him a follow on Twitter if you would too. You can find him on Twitter at Throwback978. While you're doing all this, plug-in stuff, I want to also encourage you guys to hit a thumbs up on the video. Hit the subscribe button too for the channel. That way, when we do these videos, if you tap that bell for notification, you can know that when we're going live. But other than that, leave comments in the chat, and we'll talk with those of you in the chat, like Tim Traver did, who said hi to everybody. Hi, Tim. Tim's a great guy. Make sure you say hi to him as well. We've got a crew here that's pretty good. We've got Aaron Entertainment. Aaron, where can they find you on Twitter?
Aaron Jace fan, AARON Jace fan, and you can find my YouTube channel at Aaron Entertainment on here.
Awesome. We got Wrestling Plug Inc. below me. You want to give them your plugs there?
It's right there. I haven't quite figured this out. Yeah, right there.
It's a process.
It's still Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That's where you can find me and Wrestling Plug Inc. So stop by, say hi.
We got a man who I can't do it with him, but I'm going to let him plug himself anyways. We got Mr. Anakin JMT.
Hey! You can find me on Twitter at AnakinJMT, and I'm also one of the mods on the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord. We talk about wrestling. We'll talk WWE and AEW, and there'll be a whole bunch of New Japan talk in there as well as stuff not related to wrestling. So come on by.
And last but certainly not least, making this a truly international show, we've got American audience, we've got Canadian audience with Mr. Aaron Entertainment, and we've got the UK on the line here with Mr. Tad Predicts. Tad, why don't you go ahead and give your own plugs? And Tad has done a show recently with yours truly, and he's going to plug that and kind of talk about where that show is going to go for the future. You can find that show on Throwback's other channel. But Tad, go ahead and give it a plug.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. You can find me on at Tad Predicts on Twitter, and we had a really fun show last time around with Angry Beaver. We had a predictions show. Basically, we wanted to launch it in time for WrestleMania. I mean, if you're going to launch anything wrestling related, you have to get it ready and out there by WrestleMania time. So we did a predictions show. We did an NXT predictions. We did main roster predictions as well. And I'll reveal Ray's score in a little bit, his percentage in terms of the main roster and basically the standard that he's now set for all the challenges. And it's a really fun show. Basically, background idea for it was I host a similar show from soccer, UK soccer, or football for us here. And we basically just do predictions for all the games. And, for wrestling fans, there's nothing more exciting than predictions and fantasy booking. So we're trying to look for a show that we could do that we get a whole host of us to do predictions. We can have some fun games in there where you're predicting, how the result happens, if it's pinfall, if it's submission, if it's WWE's favorite DQ finish or count out as well. And basically it's going to involve and I don't want to speak out of turn with Throwback in the background, of course, but it will involve some sort of title and guys and girls challenging for that title and seeing who can.
There he is. Told you he's there, folks. We told you.
He's there. But yeah, we've got a whole host of fun things that we're going to do about it. But without burying the lead too much, Ray, how did you think you did on your Mania predictions?
So luckily I wrote everything down so that I could do our show and so that I could do my own show as well. I just want to say too, I enjoyed that show a lot. That was a lot of fun. We went for a good, I think, hour and a half because we did TakeOver and WrestleMania. It was a lot of fun. So those of you who are thinking about watching it. When we do the next one too, especially, go watch that. That was a lot of fun. I think I set the bar pretty high. Now, I know when we did the show, we didn't have the women's tag matches on there because that wasn't announced yet. But from everything else, I know with TakeOver, I struggled a little bit. But I'm pretty sure with WrestleMania, I did pretty good. So, I don't just believe in setting the bar. I believe in being the bar. So it was fun though. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I wanted Ray on because for Fastlane, he had a strong set of predictions there as well. And I was thinking, who could I possibly get to kind of set the standard and be the big guy on the mountain that everyone's trying to take down? And Ray didn't disappoint, I don't think. Of the 12 matches that we had going on, he got 9 correct. So that's 75%. So I know he set out a challenge for Anakin JMT, and Anakin is on the show here, and he's shaking his head as I speak. But we'll see if anyone can match up to Ray's 75%. But at the moment, that's the score to beat. And we're going to have, number one contender battles. We'll have battles to have people try and go up the rankings. And we'll obviously always have, some sort of title match if we can, as often as we can, if there are worthy competitors for Ray. I know Ray is very big on making sure that people earn their title shots, especially if he's at the top of the mountain. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like I said, it was fun. So, guys, that's you can find that video on Throwback's other channel, the Wicked Crazy Crew channel. I believe that's the title. He's got it linked up on there too. But the other thing that we saw change this week in regards to pro wrestling that was, or not necessarily this week, but last week, was we saw a major shift in the channels and the timing and the nights of everything. We now have pro wrestling 5 nights a week. So Mondays, you've got AEW Dark Elevation, you've got Raw, and for those of you who believe honor is real, you've got Ring of Honor. Tuesday, you've got Dark, you've got WWE NXT, and John, I know you got your NWA Power, right? How was that, by the way? Or did they already do that tonight?
Oh, yeah, I was on at 6. I hadn't catched it yet. I'm going to catch it here in a little bit. I'm going to catch it after this. I was doing a few things today. Gotcha.
Yeah, and then so for Wednesdays, MLW, who just signed a new deal with Vice, so that'll be very interesting to see how that affects things. No, they haven't really said when that'll be, but that obviously Wednesday night is also AEW night.
It's late spring. They said late spring.
Yeah, but they didn't mention like a night slot or anything yet.
Yeah.
I think I had heard that they were going to do it leading into Dark Side of the Ring when that comes out, which they dropped the trailer for the first episode of that, which will be for Nick Gage. That looked real good. And then Thursday, you've got Impact there and Throwbacks, baby, of NXT UK. It's not on Thursday night, but it is on Thursday. And then Friday, you've got Smackdown, and you even have New Japan Strong and 205 Live. So I'll kind of ask this question to everybody in different ways. So does this change things for you? Does this make watching easier? Does it make it harder? Does it make it more tedious? Does it open it up to where you now go, hey, I'm going to watch something different now? What is this going to do to your viewing habits? I guess kind of answer any version of that question however you guys want. But despite the fact that I may detest the man in the bottom left corner or bottom right corner, I know he's already expressed that this has changed his viewing habits. So Anakin, I'll kind of let you take the wheel here. I mean, you mentioned that you watched AEW live this time. So where do you guys think that'll go?
Not live. I recorded it and watched the next day. First of all, John, I'm disappointed. You teased us on Twitter.
That's true.
And you didn't deliver. I'm disappointed, man.
Becky Lynch of this podcast.
What did I tease, Anakin?
You teased that you would podcast from the bathtub. So
I never said I would, and I will say.
Hey, he could be in the bathtub dressed with no water. He could be in the bathtub.
I will save that for a special occasion. Why blow my wad for a show? So
That's
setup,
like extra weird considering the setup of where you were supposed to be. I just want to point that out.
Like I said, your wife has been trying for weeks to get you shirtless on the show for some reason.
Yes.
Do you catch me doing podcasts in my bathtub? Like I said, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Viewers.
So yeah, viewing habits.
So yeah. So the way it was before, and with my work schedule, it was pretty much like, you know what? I'm not going to be watching NXT. I'm not going to be watching AEW. I wasn't watching Raw because was no reason to watch Raw really, and I was sort of watching SmackDown, but not really like making sure to be like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. Watch it every week. Because the few times that I tried watching NXT and Dynamite at the same time, with my ADHD, it doesn't work. I would basically feel like both shows just kind of like went in one eye and out the other one, and like I never actually took anything in. So them being on separate nights was nice. So yeah, so last week I watched all of all of Dark Elevation. And then I watched about half of Dark, and I was like, okay, I don't know how much I'm gonna do Dark because the commentary stuff, like a lot of people love the commentary on Dark, and I get it, but it's a lot. That's a lot to listen to for an hour and a half for me. But then I recorded NXT, watched the next day, recorded Dynamite, watched that the next day, and yeah, that's gonna be my plan going forward. And so it's nice because in the Discord channel that I'm on, there's a lot of AEW talk, like a lot of it, and oftentimes I've only been able to have like surface level conversations on it because I really don't know that much about it. And this past week, I have actually been able to do more talking with people about stuff because I'd be like, oh yeah, like I saw this and I really like this, and just based on what I have, here's what I kind of think it could be. And people are like, yeah, that's kind of where it's going. So so after a week, like I already feel like I am kind of on the same page as people who have been watching from the very beginning. So I'm really enjoying stuff being on separate nights. And then as far as Thursdays, watching Impact is like I've never really been something that I've been interested in, but considering who some of the people that unfortunately got dumb released last week, and I think they may be going there, that'll get me to watch. That'll get me to check them out. So yeah, overall, I'm loving this new schedule.
Yeah, and you mentioned the people being released. I'll be very interested to see, because Impact has not announced when Slammiversary will be yet. I'll be very curious to see if they kind of do the same thing that they did last year, because they had a very good success rate with that pay-per-view. It was the number 2 buy rate pay-per-view that Impact has ever done, and all it was look at what former WWE people are going to show up. It did really, really good numbers for them. So I will be curious to see how that goes. We did a reaction video to the releases on Throwback's channel on Thursday with Throwback, Rob, DK, and I. So if you guys, when you're done watching this, go give that a watch too, because it was a good time on a bad topic, but on a good time. But with this new schedule, though, Tad, I'm curious for the international audience. Obviously, it's a different time for you guys because it's so much later. But is this making things any better, or is this making things worse for you guys?
From my perspective, it starts at 1 a.m. pretty much, both shows. So I don't usually watch them live unless it's a really special night. Then I'm happy to stay up and watch it live. But what I used to do was always just watch them sort of split screen on tape delay. And then at least now you can just kind of focus on one show and get everything that, you end up having to go back because you've missed certain things, because I would mute one show and then you have to switch to the other one. So, but at least it would be on playback. So I've always got that opportunity to rewind, fast forward as and when I want to. But you tend to see that with NXT and AEW, I don't fast forward as much as with like a Raw. and then maybe sometimes SmackDown. I end up having to fast forward a lot because a lot of it isn't as good. But NXT and AEW were kind of competing, so I think they were forced to have good shows. It will be interesting to see if that dynamic changes and sort of the age groups that they then target now that they don't have that pressure of going head to head on. And also the pacing of the shows. I don't know if you guys think there's going to be a difference there, because if you kind of can see on the other screen, you know AEW usually likes to start with a tag match, so you can kind of plan your NXT show based on that. And then there was always that women's hour that started and on AEW, and I'm happy that they're starting to go away from that and it's more integrated into the show. But it'll be interesting to see if the pace and the dynamic of NXT changes as a result of that. But otherwise, it's usually tape delay for all the shows. Pay-per-views I'll watch live because you don't want the spoilers for those. It's so hard waking up in the morning and not going on Twitter, not clicking on any messages on wrestling group chat that I'm on, because you know that you're going to read some sort of spoiler. And especially for WrestleMania, I basically was in the Stone Age. I did not touch any sort of technology until I finished the entire show, and then I would go and start to tweet. I think the only thing maybe that sucks for us then is if you don't watch live, you don't get that live interaction with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I will then go on Twitter and comment like, oh, Bianca and Sasha was so good. And everyone's like, dude, that was hours ago. We over that by now. Like, everyone's already exhausted the conversation. So I suppose that's the kind of thing you have to weigh, where if you see something that's going to be important on a night, you end up just having to stay up just so you can be part of that interaction with everyone.
Sure. Aaron, John, how you guys feeling about the new schedule? I mean, you mentioned like the watching stuff on delay. I always kind of have to do that with Raw for the last hour because I can't stay up till 11 o'clock. I get up every day at 5 a.m. So I kind of do that too, where you got to kind of stay off stuff. I feel like with this new schedule, you might see AEW and NXT, because they're not competing, they might almost kind of focus on themselves a little bit more, which would be nice, because then that might fix some of the product issues. Like, I felt like this last AEW was way more integrated with the women in there, because you're trying to just build this organically, not necessarily worried about what's on the other channel. Where are you guys at on that?
I'll let you go, John.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, it's much easier. I can't watch two shows at once. It's tough for me to do. It's tough for me to focus in. With the new setup, I can comfortably watch AEW and NXT in my bathtub and not have to worry about anything. No, I think it's great. I've been screaming from day one that this shouldn't have even been a thing. I thought NXT should have always been on Tuesdays. I think it's best for business, puts more eyes on the product, as you saw.
But they were first on Wednesdays, John.
Oh, contrary.
You yelled at me for that. Don't.
Yeah,
you yelled at me for that.
No, that's what Hunter said. That's what Triple H said. That's what Triple H said. They're like, well, we were on Wednesdays first.
Triple H is
no, they were. It's true. It's true.
That was a dig at Triple H.
They were a first, but only after AEW announced that they were going to go to Wednesdays. They tried to jump the gun. Anyway.
Well, no, because they were saying how they had been on the network on Wednesdays. That was what Triple H was thinking. Which, sure, I guess if you want to look at it that way,
I will go with that. Whatever. My point is, it's awesome to have different shows on different nights, and we saw in the ratings that each one got an increase, which, in my opinion, more eyes on the product. Whether you like AEW or NXT, I don't care, but more eyes on the product is better for business. It's better for people like us who cover that, because now I can focus in on one show and have a better opinion, as Anakin was saying. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, for me, I mean, like some of the shows like Elevation, Dark, NWA. And some, I don't know, MOS, I don't know, that's gonna be on Thursdays, right? Apparently. With Impact, I could just watch that. I could watch that anytime, because they'll be on YouTube and stuff. So I can just watch that anytime. For me, I like to watch, sadly, I do like to watch Raw live, because I love the tweets people have coming in about Raw, how bad it is. I do like NXT I do like NXT. I do like Dynamite. I'm glad they're on different days because because I get to watch both shows at different times, different days. I don't have to switch back and forth with like Anakin. It keeps me distracted. And I'm glad I don't have to see the AEW versus NXT on the same day, even though it's still talk about after 1 week, NXT versus AEW. And they both got massive ratings, higher ratings. Like AEW, over 1 million, almost Smackdown numbers. And for Thursdays, I'm glad I haven't watched Impact that much since 2019, but I will watch. I can watch it anytime on Twitch because it'll be on Twitch. And I'm starting to feel like this on SmackDown. I don't know if you guys are, but SmackDown I'll watch, but because I like the tweets. But SmackDown's becoming like Raw right now.
Yeah, it's not been as good the last couple weeks as the first several months that we had Roman Reigns back. And I mean, you guys mentioned it, all the different kind of viewing habits and stuff. Like of that list of like 13 shows, the only thing that I don't regularly watch is ROH, which I catch it when I can, and Power, because I'm not spending $5 to watch Tyrus. Like I'm not doing that. So like for me, it actually made things a little bit easier though by moving some stuff to Thursday, because like Thursday was always the night that you had off. But for me, that ended up turning into the night that I caught up, or like the night that I got to spend some time doing stuff with my wife. Because normally like she works kind of an opposite schedule of what I do. So it ends up being like, okay, we get a family night together. And like now that's kind of gone, which kind of sucks. But I mean, it's made it easier to view it without feeling like you're trying to have 3-4 things on your screen. Because to be honest, I have NXT and I have Dark on my other screen, and they're split, and it's hard to keep focus on those. So it has been nice to see that. But yeah, SmackDown, you guys mentioned SmackDown's not feeling too great. What are kind of where you guys kind of want to go on highlights of the last week? Because we can talk about Raw. Raw was real awkward. I did not like a lot of it.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that normally I'm like, you know what, I'm watching it. It is what it is. Some of the stuff is dumb. But when Mandy and Dana came out, I said I can't do this. I said I like these two, but last week you were in a match with the tag champs and you said it's not worth it and walked away. Why is it worth it
literally
now?
the same episode.
Yesterday too.
It was just,
too.
Well,
it
no,
was literally the
yesterday
same episode.
Yeah,
the backstage segment, they just backed away from Nia. Like nobody likes a coward baby face.
Yeah, it was not good. So.
The only good thing about Raw last week was Charlotte's promo.
You mean last night or last week?
Last week was Charlotte's promo.
And they already wrote her off TV apparently.
But the main event I thought was okay. The main event was not bad between Charlotte and Asuka. It wasn't a bad main event match. But then and as Anakin said, they wrote her off. I'm like, what's the point now? What's the point of cutting that amazing promo just to write her off?
Well, but I think knowing the way WWE books. And the way they've been booking week to week of late. And I think we've seen Braun Strowman be suspended and come back like the next week. I doubt, if it's not anything, backstage related or trying to bury Charlotte or anything to that effect, recklessly speculating. But if it is part of storyline, there's every chance she comes back next week. She'll just they'll use some sort of illogical logic in typical WWE fashion. But from the stuff that she's done, I think her finally embracing like the condescending side of her, like I am Charlotte Flair, I think that just helps the show, because people are going to talk bad about her, whether she tries to be a face, whether she tries to be a heel. So we might as well embrace it. We know she's going to be booked as the greatest ever. That's just how the story is going to be told. So at least let me have a reason to not like her, the character, not her, the person, but at least give me a reason not to like the character. And I think they're heading in that right direction from that perspective.
I think build her as a Roman Reigns as a female division. Build her Roman Reigns. That's what they should do.
They kind of already have too, if you think about it. I mean, she is the
Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah, I got
Rosie.
you. The actual good heel, and
Yeah.
I almost wonder if they're doing this to try to buy some time with her off screen to let Rhea kind of breathe a little bit.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
They've already ruined her with the stuff. Like I don't like it.
But if that was the
But-
case, then what was the point of bringing her back last week? If they're
I
gonna,
know.
if they want to give her some space, then don't have her come back last week. Have her cut a great promo, and then come back this week and have a match and write her off again.
But if you want to start building some heat for her and Rhea, that is a decent way to do it. When I saw the suspension thing, I immediately, and maybe it's just because it was the show I was there for, when Ronda Rousey was first getting into WWE, you remember the Money in the Bank, the Raw afterwards, it was in Grand Rapids, Anakin.
Oh, that's
So,
this thing.
Yes.
When
I
she
know.
put Angle through the table, she got a 30-day
Oh
suspension.
yeah.
What did they really do? They bought her 30 days of in-ring practice with nobody watching. They bought her time off screen, and then she came back a week or two later and attacked somebody, so they had to reinitiate the suspension to extend it a little longer. And instead of saying, okay, we have nothing to do with Ronda Rousey for 2 months, they storylined why she's gone. I wonder if we're doing something like that to where maybe Rhea and Charlotte is like a SummerSlam thing. Like, to me, that would be pretty cool. But I would hope that Rhea gets over. But I hope they fix Rhea's character too.
I wonder
Does
why
anyone
yesterday's
know
match.
does anyone know if the dates line up with WWE WrestleMania Backlash in terms of her suspension?
May 16th
Oh, you
is
know
the
what?
pay-per-view, right? Is it a 30-day suspension?
It's an indefinite suspension.
So it means she
indefinite,
could come back tomorrow if they wanted to.
That's the other thing I'm wondering too, because it's not a set date; it's indefinite, and it's a $100,000 fine that goes.
I
with
mean,
it,
yesterday
too.
should be a number. If yesterday was a number one contenders match, I understand her getting upset and stuff. But I don't think yesterday's match was a number one contenders match. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not
They
sure.
never explicitly said it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's WWE for you. But
Yeah,
yesterday's
but they
match.
also have done a thing where they promote a match, and like there was a match. I don't remember when it was, but it was. Oh, I think it was with Lana and Naomi, and they were supposed to have a tag match with Nia and Shayna, non-title, and it was advertised as non-title. And then they go to break, and then they come back from break, and Lana and Naomi are in the ring, and then all of a sudden, it got switched to a title match. Like they'll change, like they'll and yesterday they had advertised a match between Braun and Randy Orton, and then that ended up getting
Oh yeah, it was
getting
advertised.
changed and
Braun
scrapped. Yeah,
Orton.
like they, when you have Vince McMahon coming in late and then deciding to just tear the whole script at 7:00, and now before showtime, and we know that there have been times where literally they start Raw, like Raw starts airing, and they don't have an end to the show yet. They're still writing it, trying to figure it out. Like when they were doing mass tapings at the PC, the shows were better because they had to plan out in ahead. They had to go, okay, what are we doing this week? What are we going to do for the next week? What are we going to do? So on and so forth. They did better when they are back to being live. They're just like, we'll worry about it when we get to it. And it's very much that Vince Russo thing. Do something for this week without thinking of, okay, what's going to be the next step, and the step after that, and the step after that.
Bro.
Which is more the reason for us not to need to worry about Charlotte being off TV for a long time. If she's healthy, if she's ready to, if she's cleared, I think they can always easily next week forget about the suspension and just somehow write her back.
There is a badass woman they could use, but she gets pinned every time. That's Shayna Baszler. Get her out of that tag team.
They could probably even like just act like it didn't happen, because that suspension happened on Raw Talk.
She should just appear next week's Raw.
It happened on Raw Talk. It did not happen on Raw. So they could just go, that didn't happen. That never existed. You didn't see that.
I mean, an indefinite suspension means they can bring her back whenever they want. They can, they can bring her back right now. She can show up on NXT, and it
what she should
wouldn't
do?
mean anything.
She should just show up on Raw. You know how a couple months ago she said to her father, "This is my time now. It's not time. It's not for you to be in the limelight anymore." As a heel, use her family's name to her advantage. Say, show up on Raw and say, "You know who I am? I'm a Flair. My name is legendary. My name is in the Hall of Fame." You can't use something like that. As a heel, it works. Use the Flair's name as a heel.
And
Like,
you can
woman
always
wins.
just say, you can always just say, as Charlotte, you can always cut a promo to say, look here, the suspension was given on Raw Talk. The only people that go on Raw Talk are people that can't get on the main show. You can always cut a heel promo.
Oh,
That would
good.
be an actually good Raw Talk promo.
That's good.
Did anyone else feel like that Flair's promo when she was kind of yelling at Asuka? Did anyone else feel like that was a bit racist, or am I misreading that? Like,
See, I didn't see it, so I can't comment.
okay,
I think they were trying to make the condescending character come across.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
irrespective of who was going to be in that position, it was always going to be condescending. But the issue there is that you then fall into the trap of like what happens with Lacey Evans with You're Nasty. Like if she cuts that You're Nasty promo on the wrong person, like if she does it to Naomi and it goes viral without context, that can look really bad. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the issue that they had with Charlotte there. But I think the character they're trying to build is her as a condescending, I'm better than everyone type of character.
This is a shard we got from 2016. Remember?
So that's what they need to have.
Yeah.
They need to have that 2016 Charlotte. I just want to say real quick, DGMC, if you want people thinking about the referees, just go to AEW, because there you had Hangman Page last night on Elevation giving Rick Knox a beer, and then
that
Jungle
was great.
Boy.
That was awesome.
And then Jungle Boy gave a steak to his referee, which popped me when he puts it when he puts the steak in the ref's mouth, and the ref just has the steak hanging from his mouth. That popped me. So there you go. And
the referees
you had,
then you had. Go ahead. Finish.
Then you had Paul White going, "Why are you giving stuff to the Zebras? They don't need to be given anything. They have enough stuff."
The referees in WWE are pansies compared to the AEW referees. The AEW referees will get in your face. The WWE referees, they'll get in your face, but they'll back off from time to time. AEW referees won't.
Let's not forget when Carmella went to cash in her Money in the Bank, and Mike Chioda is looking all confused, like, "You want to cash this in? Wait,
yeah,
you want to
we've been running for over a decade
right now? You want to cash this in? You sure?" It's like, and then she's screaming at the ref, like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, Chioda, you've cashed these in before. You know what the deal is. There's no reason for you to act so surprised.
That's WWE for you guys.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the Orton Riddle stuff? Because I've seen like a lot of people are real split on that. Where are you guys at on Riddle and Orton?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
it's something different. It's
Yeah.
something different. They've never faced each other.
I dug Randy like not knowing who Matt Riddle is. That made me laugh so much. He's like, "I don't know what his name is, but I'm gonna kick his ass, Adam Pearce."
As soon as he said that, I immediately went, "Oh, he's gonna lose now," because he did that. He did the disrespect thing, because they're gonna do this match 17 times. I figured you gotta let Riddle get him this time, and then Orton's mad at him now, which is exactly what we saw happen. I did see somebody mention, and I don't know if this is true, but somebody said, didn't Riddle pin Orton at Survivor Series like 2 years ago? I don't know if that did or didn't happen. But and I mean, I get it.
I will look it up.
That would be something because we've seen the spots where Riddle shows that he's not actually stupid. Like when he was quoting Bobby Lashley the night after WrestleMania of things that he had said weeks ago and even gave dates and stuff. If he pulls that out of, "You didn't know who I was. That's real weird because I beat you before." That would be pretty funny. I don't know how you play it though, because he did sell the shock of beating him yesterday.
That's my issue with Riddle. That's my issue with how they write Riddle. They make him look dumb when he's not.
So yes. So Survivor Series 2019, Orton did an RKO on Damian Priest to eliminate him, and then Riddle rolled up Orton and pinned him. So
Okay,
yes,
this-
Rolled
okay.
him up.
To be fair, with the roll up, you might not see who did it.
That's fair. That's fair. But
I think
I
Orton
see you, Pluggo. I see you.
Hashtag 420.
I did think it was funny though when he said that, hey, let's be a tag team and we can be RK Bro. Like that did pop me. That was good. I'm sure Randy said like, hey, I want to go work with this Riddle kid because I've been working with the Fiend for 6-9 months, whatever it was. I can see because a lot of the talk with the Drew promos was, what's that?
I said he wants to work with a real person.
Yes, but like the Drew promos that he was doing when they first started that, Drew was always talking about how Orton never cares about anyone else. He never puts anyone over. But he has been doing that a little bit over the last 1.5, 2 years. He was really trying to put FTR over. He's put a couple other people over too. I wouldn't have been surprised if he went to management and was like, hey, let me work with this Riddle kid. Because he likes to work stiff too, and Riddle's real good at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad to see like that they didn't bury Riddle. You know, he lost the title, and I thought, all right, they're just going to bury him down. But they're putting him in high-profile programs, so that means they see highly of him. So I guess it's like Anakin said, it's a fresh matchup, so it's better. It's better than what we've been doing. They could have done Sheamus Riddle another 10 times.
They buried Humberto.
I was just going to say, did you see what they did with Sheamus?
Oh. Poor Humberto.
You know, Humberto looking he worked out a bit, huh?
Pour one out for Humberto.
Yeah, he got
I think
much better shape.
Him and Kalisto must have been working together because Kalisto looked pretty jacked.
Do you think Vince
they help? No.
Don, they probably asked Jinder what he did.
Oh, Jinder was just in his wrestling attire at WrestleMania. That's it.
No, but I'm talking.
They better
like,
have gotten
Jinder
paid
came
for
back.
that, man.
Like when Jinder
Yeah,
came
you
back,
got paid.
After he had gotten fired and he came back, he looked jacked, and that's basically why he became WWE champion. Because Vince was like, "Oh, he got jacked. Gotta jack him up with a title."
Oh man, can we get another Vince impression?
I don't want to remember that. I don't want to remember Ginger's won as a champion.
I remember it only because the Walt Culture guys laughed their heads off when it happened.
Ray was supposed
They
to
thought it was hilarious.
go on the rails.
Hey, I think we're doing pretty good. I mean, this show is always a disaster. Anyone who watches that knows that.
Yeah,
I think we're doing pretty good.
Man. It gets
There's
viewers.
too many people for it to not be a disaster.
Yeah,
it gets viewers, guys.
And that's the fun. That's the fun.
The better they get more viewers.
Yourself. I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
So you mentioned when is Backlash? Let's talk about Backlash.
WrestleMania Backlash.
That's what I wanted to talk about. So I'm real worried. I'm real worried that they're going to turn this into like a takeover gimmick where it's like every pay-per-view is WrestleMania, whatever. Like WrestleMania WrestleMania Survivor Series.
Or as Alex Pulowski was calling it on Sour Graps, WrestleBack Mania Lash.
Yeah. And so I'm real worried about that because I want WrestleMania to be WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like it's lore. Like
Sure.
it's a brand you've built for a long time.
Yeah.
Just caught Backlash. Like they didn't know that years ago.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a long-standing pay-per-view. Like this is one that goes back to like near 2000. Like I was looking back at when they've done
99,
stuff.
I think it's the first one.
Yeah,
99.
I believe so.
Walk and Austin 2. They had a rematch at Backlash.
Yes.
Yeah, 99. Yep.
And I was actually looking back trying to figure out like, you know, before most pay-per-views, I try to go back and go like, oh, what were some good ones? And I always just kind of look to see what's there. Do you guys have any like favorite Backlash matches that you guys remember?
That match, Walk and Austin 2.
You always
if there was anything that came to mind, I've got a couple in the can for you, so we can talk about those if you want.
Yeah.
2004. You gotta be willing to be a fan of the blood and the guts. But the Randy Orton Cactus Jack match,
yeah,
that match ruled. If you're not a fan of the blood and the guts, Ms. Rollins from 2018 is a actually pretty family friendly one that was pretty good too.
How about Walker Triple H from 2000?
All
Was it 2000?
I'm going to say about this WrestleMania Backlash thing is I think
I'm a Walk fan.
the WWE was like, oh, we're on Peacock now. I think Peacock doesn't know anything about wrestling outside of WrestleMania. Maybe we just tell everything's WrestleMania related and they'll be okay. Because there's no other reason to explain it. Like, you're just doing this to appease the Peacock audience because you think you're going to draw more viewers, but it's
I just hope it doesn't stick beyond this one. Like, don't do WrestleMania Money in the Bank, because you had Money in the Bank on WrestleMania before.
Yeah,
WrestleMania Survivor Series, WrestleMania Hell in a Cell,
WrestleMania. Next year will be WrestleMania, and then they'll just keep adding WrestleMania Backlash, WrestleMania SummerSlam,
become WrestleMania Raw, WrestleMania SmackDown.
We already had that.
We already had WrestleMania,
remember?
SmackDown.
Oh yeah,
we already had WrestleMania. Yeah.
WrestleMania ad predicts.
So as far as backlashes, the one that's notable for me is 2016, because that was when Becky, becoming the first SmackDown Women's Champion, and then also that's when Styles won the title. That's when he turned heel, and that was, I think that was the fastest that anybody had ever gone from debut to WWE champion since Brock Lesnar in 2003, because Styles debuted at the end of January, and then at the end of what was it, October?
Debut too.
No, September's Backlash. September,
yeah. So September 11th. So yeah. So you go from the end of January to about the middle of September, and Styles is WWE champion and turns heel. And what a great moment for that, especially because he had just come off of two great matches with John Cena, especially SummerSlam, and at SummerSlam 1 he won clean. So he goes from a clean win over Big Match John straight into becoming WWE champion. And then of course 2017, where we got another WWE champion crown, but we don't need to talk about that one.
It seems like the biggest matches had John Cena and Randy Orton in them for backlashes. Because for me, Ray, the one you mentioned, the Randy Orton Cactus Jack one, I think that was a coming of age for Randy Orton in terms of just earning his stripes and getting maybe respect. Yeah, because the thing is, because he's a legacy, there's always going to be people, and I suppose it ties in back to, the Charlotte Flair discussion that we had. There's always going to be people that say you're only here because you are X or Y. But that match, I think, earned Randy a lot of respect. But in terms of favorite Backlash matches, I'm going to go to 2007. It was John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Edge, and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton and Edge had just been tag team partners. Shawn Michaels and John Cena had been kind of tag team partners, but had faced off at WrestleMania that year as well.
Oh, yeah.
And the finish of that match was just, like everyone hit their finisher on each other. And then Shawn Michaels hit Switch in Music on John Cena. And then John Cena landed on Randy Orton and pinned him. Whereas you're thinking, HBK is going to win it. And then John Cena just lands on Randy Orton and gets the 1, 2, 3. That was an awesome match for me.
Banks and Bailey versus the Iconics and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross at Backlash.
How did I know you were getting that in there? How did I know you'd find a way?
I miss the Iconics. It's been a rough week. I haven't been able to watch wrestling properly. I'm upset. I should be in the bubble bath. That's all.
You only have to wait 90 days.
You got to be joking me.
You've only got 90 days minus a couple. They will land together somewhere right away. I'm positive of it.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now. They're going to Impact. They become the first team to have held the WWE Women's Tag Team titles and the Knockouts Tag Team title at the same time. I think that's where they're going first. Especially because Gail Kim was like, we got a tag division over here,
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna be like, Ray, You gotta be joking me.
I hope
So-
they
You gotta say it with
should use
a little
that
more
line.
attitude. You gotta be joking me.
You
I
gotta
wish you could
be
use that
joking
line.
me, Ray.
Joking me.
Right?
I mean, even like that's a basic enough line that I can't imagine that's copyrighted. And even if it
It's
is,
WWE.
you can do something close enough to where everyone knows exactly what you're
Was it
doing.
even-
But I like
See
everyone.
if they have the iconic duo trademark, because that was what they were in NXT before they came up, and then they got changed to just Iconics. So if Iconic Duo, if that's not trademarked anymore, there you go.
They could also just be the icons too. Like that would work too. I think that'd be cool.
Mhm.
I've heard a lot of people say AEW because obviously Peyton Royce is married to Sean Spears, but I completely agree. Like Impact to me is the one that makes the most sense. And if you want to get them on AEW, the door's open, pal. Like you might as well.
I can see Peyton Royce in AEW. I don't know about Billy Kay.
No.
They're gonna
The
go
only reason
somewhere
I guess-
together though.
Yeah, they're
But I
going
think
together.
Billy Kay, maybe, but here's one suggestion with Peyton Royce. What if the Pinnacle adds a female, have Peyton Royce be part of the Pinnacle with her husband? Because I feel like Sean Spears is missing something, and I think Peyton Royce might be the solution to that. Have a
But Aaron,
female.
Iconics versus TJ. Everybody wants that match. At least if you're on the
Why are
Warning
you trying to
Discord,
ruin a good thing?
everybody wants Iconics versus TJ. Come on.
You
Come
and
on,
I have
DGMC, where are you? I need your support.
you and I
Iconics.
Okay,
have
but-
argued about that one a lot too.
Aaron's
Yeah.
becoming a heel.
Aaron, yeah,
This is
Aaron.
Aaron's heel turn.
Hey, I'm just having ideas. What? This is
Forget Tim. Aaron's the heel of the show now.
I'm just saying it's one idea. I can see the idea of the Iconics coming to AEW. I just see Peyton Royce coming to AEW more than Billy Kay. But if they want Billy Kay, great addition. They should go after Samoa Joe. They should offer a huge amount of money to Samoa Joe. If Brian Cage is turning face, if they'll stick by it, have him team up with Taz. And when the contracts are up in 30 days, the next pay-per-view, Brian Cage versus Samoa Joe at the pay-per-view in August.
For a
Joe
second, I
represents
thought you said have him team up with Tad. I was like, what?
I did too.
I'm not ready to go.
I did too.
What do you think of that? Samoa Joe joining Team Taz and have and Brian Cage going off and it'd be a solo career, and Taz has Samoa Joe in his corner. Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage. You know, Samoa Joe and Taz have that relationship from TNA at the time.
Yeah,
I
like,
don't think he'd follow Taz's lead very well, so I don't know that would work. I'd much rather see them feuding with each other. And as far as like adding Peyton to the Pinnacle, like John, no disrespect to Peyton Royce, but like the way that group is assembled, if you're adding a female talent, it's probably not going to be Peyton as the first one, at least.
Will
Like,
you push
if you
Sean
wa-
Spears into it?
I wouldn't do that.
Well, I mean,
Pinnacle
they're
is
completely different roles, but I think if you're going to go with the Pinnacle being kind of what it is, if you're going to add a female element to it, I would love that, but I would maybe put somebody else there first. Not only because I think when it comes to fit, you want someone who's a little bit more of a technical wrestler with that group, but also the fact that like if she's the first one in, it's a heel group, whatever you want to say.
Future women's
Her-
wrestling champion Tay Conti in the Pinnacle.
And I think that would be something that I could see them fitting there. She's obviously got her ties to Dark Order, so I don't want her to move away from that. But
See,
like,
here's what I'm thinking: Jade and Pinnacle.
Yeah,
That
Jade
would make
Cargill.
more
I
sense
could-
to me.
that would work.
Oh, she's gonna be a champion very soon. I can just see it.
Keep Jade.
Nah,
by herself.
No, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. She's
You gotta
not
wait.
gonna go
But
back.
she's a
It's
future
Brit-
champion. She's a future champion.
But it's Brit
Okay,
time.
here's my pitch for Samoa Joe. And I heard this from somewhere else. And ever since I heard this, I don't want anything else. Samoa Joe goes to Impact and he says, Daddy's home and I'm bringing back the title. And he goes after Kenny Omega, who would have won the Impact title. And Samoa Joe is the one that beats Kenny Omega to bring back the Impact title to Impact.
I like
That's
that.
I've
That's
I've
what I
said that
want.
too. I like that too. That's kind of where I'm hoping that they go.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Chelsea Green. I think she goes to Impact.
See,
I
I
could
don't
see it.
know.
I mean, she's
because-
been there before, so I mean that
Right.
would be a fit for sure.
but she was also a part of All In, and those Elite boys, they like the people that that were at All In. So that's
Yeah,
one
I just want to show up and find Deonna Purrazzo and be like,
No.
Deonna Purrazzo goes to hug her or something, but she comes out as a hot mess, and that's where they start. Have Deonna Purrazzo champion when Chelsea Green is ready to with the 90 days is up. Have something start with them, or they could tag team each other. Have her kick out Kimberly or whatever.
But guys, just on these where these people go, from work-wise, from legal side of things, now during the pandemic, a lot of these shows aren't doing house shows, and we're probably not going to see the full extent of house shows for maybe like 2 years from now. There's nothing wrong with signing a 2-year contract with a company that you know you're going to be booked strong with, and then try and negotiate from a position of power later on, 2 years down the line.
Yeah.
I think some of these guys should think about that instead of saying, I'm going to go to this company and then, you're no longer being booked or you're sitting on the bench. You can go to a company for 2 years, sign a contract for 2 years, make sure you're featured there, and then you can propel yourself from there. We've seen guys like Drew McIntyre, etc., who have been kicked out of big companies, gone somewhere else, worked their way back up. You can still get back to those, in inverted commas, bigger companies if that's the worry. That's the advice I would be giving to some of these people, that where are you going to get the most shine? Where are you going to get the most limelight? And then once fans come back, once the crowds come back, because you'll be over by that time, the crowds will be absolutely loving you. And then those companies will be saying, oh, we got to have this person. That's how I would be advising people right now.
For sure.
Well, the only thing that I do know is that if you go by the people that got released last year and compared to where they are this year, I think the people that got them released this year have no reason to be depressed. Well, they can be sad, but
they got fired, bro. Of course they
can
opportunity.
be sad, but they shouldn't feel like it's over for them, because
I think they're happy. Majority of them.
When you look at the releases,
Tucker is
from last year. Well, yeah, Tucker is. But you look at the releases from last year. You've got Rusev, who's now Miro. He's doing his thing with Kip Sabian, and hopefully that works out. You've got Matt Cardona.
Deonna Purrazzo has been Impact champion for almost a year,
and
like that.
And I've heard people say she's one of the best knockout champions of all time, with a title that has had Gail Kim and Awesome Kong as your champions. You got
don't forget Frankie Monet,
Taya Valkyrie, and Tessa Blanchard. Yep.
Hey, what about Tyler Wilde? What's her name? Tyler Wilde's back. She was a knockout champion, right? And Julia Love. Scott.
Yeah.
There's some great champions.
Matt Cardona, he had a stint in AEW. He's now killing it in this feud with Brian Myers on
Kurt
Impact.
Hawkins.
Who's also one of them. Ty Conti has a title shot tomorrow night against Sheeta for the AEW Women's Championship. She's not going to win it, but she's got it.
Shut up! You shut up!
No, it's Britt Baker. Britt Baker double.
He's gone. It's not happening. No, I want Tay Conti with the championship. When NXT missed her, I was like, oh, you missed a real good one. And I know a lot of people didn't see that, but when I saw her in NXT, I was like, that woman is a star. And all it took was me watching her kick someone in the face one time, and I was like, no, sold. I really hope she gets that.
I'm not saying she's not great, but Britt Baker. For whatever reason, they have kept denying pulling the trigger on her. She should have won that women's tournament. She should have been the one at Revolution to face Sheeta to take the title. But they might have been waiting for Double or Nothing for a big show. It's got to happen at Double or Nothing, especially because right now Britt Baker, number 2 ranked female. Assuming Ty loses tomorrow, Britt now goes up one more spot. She's now the number 1 ranked female, and she's going to go, I want my shot, and I want it at Double or Nothing.
So hear me out. Hear me out.
Claim to whoever wins this match tomorrow night, though, too. So you got to take into account Thunder Rosa and all this, too.
So hear me out then. And the Thunder Rosa thing, I did forget about that. So we'll see kind of where that goes. But if Conti wins, Britt is the heel. They're trying to establish her as the heel.
Mhm.
When she wins the title, a lot of people are going to be happy. If she beats somebody as much of a genuine babyface as Conti on a short title run, that can be something that, you know,
Okay.
like
All right.
that
I
could
see
be
where
a
you're
way
going.
to do that. So
I see where
that
you're
would
going.
that'd be where and no one would people would have the sympathy for Conti for having a short run, but she'd be one where we know she's going to get another shot later, and the sympathy is built automatically. Like that's kind of where I go with that.
You're all right. You're winning me over a little bit here. I can see that. As far as Thunder Rosa, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker at All Out for the women's title. I mean, come on, that is a money match right there.
Man,
is there going to be a live crowd by then? I think their next match has to be in front of a live crowd.
I think it will be. I know they've talked about bringing some crowds back. I don't know what they're doing for Blood and Guts though. Like I don't know if that'll have a crowd, but I'm very excited for that when we get that.
Well, it's
what do you think they're doing on the show?
They're right now. They're trying to like right now on their website. They have shows listed for August in places that are not Daly's place. Like Philadelphia was one they saw in New Jersey. Right. That's for August. JR just said today they're that they're looking to do places that aren't Daly's place like by the end of July. So they clearly are already looking towards the end of the summer for maybe starting to have some of that stuff happen. So if you can keep Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker separate until then, you can have them have the big blow-off match, the official blow-off match, since the last match wasn't official because it was a lights out unsanctioned match. You have them have their big official blow-off match. It's in front of a crowd, and it's for the title.
Do you think we're gonna get a Stampede match again? Because I know they were talking about last year making it as a staple, but I don't know.
I don't think I doubt it. Not if we're getting a Blood and Guts. I don't think you can do Blood and Guts and Stadium Stampede.
But I love that. I'd love to.
It was very good, but you do have to you got to be careful to not like gimmick that one too much because you can ruin that real fast if you do it too many times.
We all know that.
Yeah, we watch WWE.
Don't make it a pay-per-view like Hell in a Cell.
Who do you see as the next challenger for Kenny Omega's title for the next pay-per-view? Not Rich Swann. I mean, like from the AEW side.
Samoa Joe.
John Silver.
Samoa Joe.
Silver's hurt, brother.
Yeah, Silver's hurt.
Fortunately, his contract is not up then, but that'd be awesome though.
So you're close, I think, though, with your John Silver. I think we're probably getting close to that Hangman match. I don't know when. I've loved the very, very slow build to that. I'm willing to continue to wait because it's fun watching Hangman be Hangman, but I think that might be where we end up heading pretty soon. So yeah.
Yeah, like Hangman, I could see it Double or Nothing because right now you've got because I'm looking at the rankings right now. You've got Omega and Darby Allin's champions, and then you've got Hangman at 6-0. You've got Moxley at 5-1, Jungle Boy 4-0, Cody at 5-1, and Hobbs at 5-0.
Oh,
so
Hobbs tomorrow.
Throwback is hacking his own show with the Twicker or with the ticker. I called it a Twicker. It's a ticker.
So and I think isn't Jungle Boy? Isn't he
tomorrow for the TNT title?
Yep. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, Cody has that dumb stipulation where I can't challenge for the world title. Which once he turns heel, he will go for the title. He will.
I'm fine with him being off TV for a little while. By the way.
Yeah.
Some other people. Yeah.
It's fine. So yeah, I think Hangman at Double or Nothing probably makes the most sense. And maybe even take it. It's just the thing is that with Omega having the Impact title, assuming he's going to get the Impact title on Saturday.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. Like, do you get him with two titles? and then a month later you take the AEW title off of him. That's what I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I don't think you like Hangman. I think needs to be the one to take the title right off of him. But I think Double or Nothing still might be a little too soon.
You got a story with Hangman and Mega. Mega could blame Hangman for losing the tag team titles to FTR based on him drinking a lot and stuff like that. He could blame.
I had this.
The show's over at 9,000, baby. Woo!
See, I had this idea. I'll throw this out there. And
He was on mute.
Yeah,
you were muted. Himself. Nobody heard you.
He tried.
No one
heard you.
Rookie error.
Uh-oh.
I told you I hacked my own show eventually. I got it back for a minute. Oh, shit. Bye.
Oh, man. This guy. I don't know why he hacks his own show, but...
Did we sign Retribution, guys?
I don't know. So, hey, real quick. I want to get this out. So I did have this idea. What if whenever Hangman faces Omega, he's trying all of his stuff, he's trying all of his moves, it doesn't work. Hangman even tries one-winged angel, and Omega kicks out of that. Then Hangman busts out a Rainmaker, and that's how he beats them. That could get Okada mad enough where he goes back to Japan, because he thinks that Okada taught Hangman how to do it, or gave Hangman his okay, and that's how you then get Omega back over to Japan to then possibly set up for like Wrestle Kingdom or something.
Yeah, it'll be very curious. It'll be very curious to see kind of how all this goes. But we're at an hour, so we'll start wrapping this up. Throwback does want to let everybody know he's got a new series that is in the works. It's a retrospective where he's interviewing past guests of people who have been on the show before. He has one with Rob Wilkins that either did or will drop soon. He's got one. He
dropped it today on YouTube. He dropped it on YouTube. Yeah.
He's got one with Dennis Farrell, that one will drop soon. He did one with that guy that I guess might be worth watching. So give that one a watch when that one drops. And then he's gonna have tons more. If you've been on the show before, contact him. And he said he wants to do these with as many people as he can. There he is. He should unmute himself this time, though.
Yeah, right. I'm working. I already have a confirmation for 2 guests, and one of them is the biggest heel on the show.
He's talking about Tim Traver, for those of you who don't know. So
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like Aaron might have taken that spot.
Nah,
I feel that guy might have taken spot.
It's good to be a heel.
So we'll go around. We'll do some last minute plugs. I'm going to selfishly plug something that I started recently on my own. I know some of you have already seen it. I know Pluggo, I know you saw it already. I have had a long loving history, like as a history teacher, I've got a passion for history. I've also got a passion for wrestling. So I decided to combine the two in an attempt to relearn some history that I would love to know for wrestling. I said, you know what? Everyone always talks about the Monday Night Wars. How did we get to the Monday Night Wars in the first place? You got to have both of these shows on TV regularly. But how do we get there? So what I did is I assembled every pay-per-view from WWF and then all of the pay-per-views from WCW, NWA, and Jim Crockett, starting with Starrcade in 1983. I chronologically listed them all leading into SummerSlam of 95, days before Nitro. They are chronologically listed, and I am retro-reviewing every show in order. I'm doing this, and I'm doing it for me because I just wanted to do it. But once I started this undertaking, I realized this is a lot, and I wanted to put it on Twitter, and then went, no, because that's way too complicated, way too convoluted for Twitter. So I decided to make a website. That website is now found on my Twitter account, which is at AngryBeaver1127. It's called Wrestling with the Beaver, and it is the road to the Monday Night Wars. So far, I have.
You know, that line is the most dirtiest line ever in the whole thing. You really like to wrestle with beef.
I'm the Beaver. So I have already reviewed Starcast 83, which saw Ric Flair and Harley Race in a cage match. It was great. Next up is going to be Starcade 2, which is 1984, that has Ric Flair against Dusty Rhodes in a match that gets preempted on Starcade 1. And I will continue next after that into WrestleMania 1 chronologically all the way until the Monday Night Wars start. I did not realize how much of a massive undertaking this was until after I started it. This will take me years, but I'm very excited. So go give that website a little look. Leave some comments on there too, if you would.
He likes
Aaron,
wrestling with beavers, and he's excited.
Aaron, why don't you go ahead and give yourself your plugs again as we wrap up?
Okay, so you can find my Twitter down below, the Aaron Jace fan, and my YouTube channel, Aaron Entertainment. I did talk about wrestling earlier today, about the releases, about Raw, SmackDown, AEW, and NXT. And yeah, and I'm going to talk about pop culture this Thursday. There's some movie news this week. And last week, I didn't do a show last week about it, but so that's what I'm going to continue adding in for this week. And then Saturday, I'm going to do Why We Love Sports. And yeah, Aaron Entertainment on YouTube. Check me out.
Aaron's doing shows constantly, guys. Go give his YouTube channel a watch. Tad, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on at Tad Predicts. I'll tweet all the things I'm involved in. In terms of podcasts, check out EPL Index podcast channel. I've got my A Tad Predictable podcast there for English football. They tried to create basically an NFL with an English, like a European Super League over the weekend.
Dead
and
now.
Yeah, is it dead?
the
Is it
fans
dead?
rioted, and it just got blown out of the water. They said no, it's not happening. The players came out and said, yeah, no, we're not going to be part of it. So I think the owners of some of the big clubs in Europe are pretty pissed off. So we'll be discussing that. I think the podcast should be out on Friday morning. And then I also do ratings for Liverpool Football Club. So you can check out Rate Don't Hate podcast as well on Anfield Index podcast channel. Liverpool, I'm playing well at the moment, so those podcasts do get quite feisty with the ratings that people give for that one. Check out, obviously, then the predictions show for Wicked Crazy Pinfalls. Once Aaron follows me back, because I followed him,
I have
but in
followed
true
you.
heel fashion.
I did follow you, by the way.
Did
On
you?
Twitter.
Okay, is it
Yes.
Anakin? Anakin hasn't followed me back. In true heel fashion, he hasn't followed me back. Because he's apparently, because he's too scared to come on the show. That's what I didn't say this. I didn't say that. There's a guy
I did.
two panels down over there that said you were too scared to come onto the show. But there is a WWE WrestleMania Backlash coming up pay-per-view, and you were meant to be the guest for that one.
I'll do prediction for it.
75% is the record at the moment from Ray. So I'm happy to have you on. It's an open invite. If you're not coming on, then we might have a number one contenders matchup between two other people. But if you're happy to come on, please come on.
Sure.
We'll have Anakin on. He'll do his ratings. We'll see how he matches up against the Angry Beaver, and then whether or not he deserves a title shot against the Angry Beaver.
So Anakin's not a main eventer, so go ahead and plug your stuff, sir.
On the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord, I am a main eventer, which is where you can find me. You can also find me on Twitter. I'm at AnakinJMT. And as for you, DGMC, you said that I was called a coward. You're a coward because, and you know why? Because you won't get a mic.
Why wouldn't you say that to his face?
I would say it to his face, but he's too much of a coward because he doesn't have a mic.
All right, Mr. Main Event, Mr. Wrestling Plug Inc.
Where
can they find you?
You can find me at Wrestling Plug Inc. on Twitter and Instagram, our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff. This Thursday, I believe, I'll be doing an Impact React.
So use that.
with the Spencer Love of Love Wrestling on the Love Wrestling channel. So go give that some love, give that some likes, some shares, all that fun stuff. Hey, and if we can get these numbers up, maybe I'll do some podcasts in the bathtub.
So speaking of numbers, there's another show that you should give some good numbers to as well. In the Mix with Rob Wilkins. Rob is part of the Fightful team as well, but he does do a show on Throwback's channel called In the Mix. That's on Fridays, I believe.
Yes.
But Rob does those shows every single week. Give those a watch as well. And as we kind of wrap things up, again, please hit the thumbs up on this video, hit the subscribe for the channel, tap that bell for notifications as well. So it's been fun, guys. I appreciate hosting. This show wasn't a total disaster, I don't think. We'll let the main man speak to that, but we'll wrap it up.
I have no
why don't you
hair.
close us out?
I have no hair.
Hey, I'm next to Wrestling Plug. Iconic.
Oh, wait.
You're gonna be joking me.
Wrong way.
No, I'm right way now. Ray,
I can't
are
do
you
it.
joking me? Are you joking me, Ray?
You gotta be.
Hey,
joking.
Kayla!
Kayla!
All right. I got control again. Jeez. Check out Sisters Custom Designs. They check everything out. Also, check out the Fightful stuff. They do all that stuff. The retrospectives have been doing really good. Anakin drops Thursday. I was very honored to have Wrestling Perspectives Dennis Farrell, who was on the show with Anakin. And to quote a line from Dennis Farrell, he gave Anakin a compliment and called him his boo.
It's like, okay.
I gotta be honest. You sneak previewed that with us. What he said about me, I did think that was funny. Like, I know some people would take that as a shot. I thought it was funny. So go check that out when that drops, guys.
Yeah, that will be on Sunday. And then I've got some stuff in the pipeline I'm working on right now. I'm also check it out, guys. May 11th, 50th episode of Wicked Crazy Pinfalls. I'm trying to get a very surprise guest that I think will shock everybody, and it'll be with these guys. But the guest will be the one that it will shock you, and I'm hoping this individual agrees. And then we've got 3 shows going on the week of the 1 year, and that Sunday I'm going to have Ray, if he's, I wish, if Ray or Tad or one of you guys are wanting to, we're gonna do a Sunday show if there's no pay-per-view, and we're just gonna talk about how life is and stuff like that with our own lives, because that will be the 2nd year anniversary of my mom, and then we have 3 shows that week. So you guys got to get some rest, man. This is going to be a fun ride for the 1 year. We've got the last Tuesday show, the 1 year at 7:00, then right before AEW, and then Thursday night. And then I'm proud to announce that Ray's show is going to be starting development soon on the Wicked Crazy Crew TV with Pluggo down underneath him. We're going to have them started and then try to get Tad's prediction shows on a regular basis per pay-per-view with the King. And we'll probably change the title if Tad's would call it, because of the whole prediction challenge. It's going to be called King of the Mountain kind of thing. We'll figure it out.
Real quick. Ray, our show, are we going with Plug in the Beaver? Is that the title?
Plug in the Beaver.
No, we're out of here. Bye.